Ew, look, this is a Volkswagen Passat B6. Most people would put this as a good car, it's a popular car, but I'm listing this in my terrible car review things, and here's why. Now, before going much further, you may be wondering why this car has no number plates, and there is a very good reason for that. It's just that it's so boring you would switch off the video, so I'm not going to bother explaining it to you. Volkswagen are supposed to be known for this terrific door close sound, but I don't see what's so good about that, really. I mean, it doesn't sound horrible, but clunk. I mean, if it was an expression, the expression would be something like this. Let's try it together, shall we? The Passat B6 is quite a spacious car. It's certainly big on the outside. There's quite a bit of headroom, but the main thing I do actually like about it, let's talk about some things I do like, is it does feel very strong. It does feel like a very safe car, and that's not surprising really when you consider the size of these A-pillars. Very, very safe there. Very safe in that crack that you're bound to have caused by that massive blind spot. Same thing with these B-pillars. Look at that, it's a massive chunky thing. The whole of the car is littered on the inside with airbags to make sure that you won't get too badly injured in a crash. Just burnt. Just have a burnt face off of all that gunpowder. Many people have said the Passat is a very dull looking car, but actually I disagree. I like the look of it. I think it looks rather smart. Same job with these rear lights. I've always liked these. Always have. Yes, the styling of the Passat is very safe because they wanted to sell it to as many people as possible. So you can't go putting people off by having odd things knocking about. It has to remain conservative, otherwise many people will just look elsewhere. Not everybody likes ginger ladies, but I do.
Go!
Anyway, as I said, I think the Passat is a very handsome car. Although, I do understand why people think it's a bit dull. I mean, look at the colour of it. That's a dreadful colour. And look at all this bird liquid all over the boot there. Obviously the car didn't come with that standard, but the fact that it's still on there just shows that the owner isn't interested in it enough to clean it off. I quite like this chrome surround on the grille. The alloys are rather dull though. Not a lot of imagination going on there, is there? Now, before you can drive this car, you have to start it. And that's where I started to dislike this car just a bit more. We have this key here. It's not too difficult to find a slot for it to go into, and you stick it in. And then what do? There's no starter button anywhere, so you have to do something else. What do? Put your foot on the accelerator? No, it needs some diesel by the looks of it. Brake pedal? No, that doesn't do anything. Clutch? Nothing. So what do? So you take it back out again, and then you stick it back in. You try them again. No, it just wants me to put my seatbelt on. There's not a lot of point in me putting my seatbelt on if I can't even set off though, is there? Right, now it's telling me to stop because there's an airbag fault. But, I need to set off before I can start. That is the main problem. So come on, what do? Oh, there we go. Now, that was lucky. It seems you have to push the key in and press the clutch simultaneously to get it to start. And I'm sure it's bonging at me now. I'm sure now it's telling me to stop again. I'm getting annoyed with this car. I'm sure if you bought a new Passat when it was new, you would have been told by the dealer how you start it, and you never really have a problem with it. But what's wrong with just having a key that you turn, or something a fob, and then you press a button? What's wrong with that? I prefer that. I'd have been able to start this car much more quickly with that. Anyway, on to the interior quality. Well, typical Volkswagen really. It's all there's nothing wrong with it. It's all quite nice and well fit and everything. Maybe just a bit bland. Well, do you know what? That's about all I can say about it. There is some nice storage there for cups. People like to store cups these days. And then a big bin thing there, which is great for filling up with things that you don't need, no doubt. And bins in the side of the door as well. Basically just space for things that, you know, up until 15 years ago people didn't need to carry around with them. Now, buttons, electric windows. It has electric windows, and all the buttons actually feel quite purposeful actually, which isn't particularly exciting. And it has electric mirrors, of course. And I think, that's where that is. I was looking for that to lock and unlock the doors. It has a pink dangly air freshener, which is a good thing, because I know the owner of this car has had it for about 6 months and he doesn't smoke, yet it stinks of fags in here, which is quite disappointing. You can't blame Volkswagen for one of its buyers smoking in the car, obviously. No, but maybe you can blame them for fitting the car with a kind of fabric that soaks up the smell of nicotine. Radio looks nice and big and functional. Whoa! And then we have the heater control buttons. That one feels quite nice. That one does too. But this one is really baggy and horrible feeling. I don't like that at all. In the back of here there is space for adults. I don't like the sound of that door at all. I don't see what the big deal is. Yes, so in fact there's plenty of space for adult sized people. I've got plenty of leg room and plenty of headroom as well, which is fine. What you need while you're in the back of a Volkswagen Passat, bored by the drive, and most definitely the owner as well, is to at least be comfortable. This car has no number plates, so I can't take it for a proper test drive, but I can take it for a drive around the yard. The electric handbrake has to be switched off. Oh, right, still, oh, right, because you got to press your foot on the brake as well. Maybe that's so that you don't accidentally release it, but again, what's wrong with just a handbrake? I did just want to set off then, but it's just made me think electric handbrakes, that's another thing to fail, like the electric key ignition thing there. There's a spring-loaded thing, so there's all sorts of things that could go wrong there, including the spring and the sensors in there and all the other bits of... Sorry, I got distracted with boredom. As I was saying, I can't take it for a proper drive, but I can have a drive around the yard in it, and that'll give me some idea of its acceleration, etc. Handbrake back off again. It seems to drive okay actually, so that's a pass. I've managed to stall it in second gear. Right, now I've got to go through all this rigmarole again of starting the car. So there's the situation. You're at the lights and you managed to stall your car and you've forgotten the procedure on how to start it. So push in. No, it didn't work. Right, now I've misjudged it that. See, just then I didn't press the clutch at just the right time so it wouldn't start, so I'm wasting valuable time, and by now people will be beeping their horns at me. Huh? Underneath the bonnet is the 1.9, no, it's a 2-litre diesel engine with about 140 brake horsepower, and it pulls quite eagerly with lots and lots of torqueys. I've driven quite a few Volkswagens and they all drive the same, kind of okay. That's really it, that's the answer. Adequate, nothing exciting, and the whole lack of excitement is exactly what's wrong with them. There's no real sense of occasion driving a Volkswagen, but they're very popular. They're very popular with people who think they're really good cars, And maybe that's why we see so many of them getting crashed, because the driver's bored. You've got to drive like a lunatic so as not to fall asleep. Now then, the boot is very big. Let's open the boot with that handle there. Push it in and it goes up. And look at the size of that. And you could store something quite big in there, a bit like, maybe a fully grown man like me. Can I fit in here? Yes, I can. That's fabulous. Yes, I'm impressed. Yeah, if you can fit me in, imagine what else you can fit in here. Oh. Now, it's not designed for gangsters, this car, because if you want to lock your criminal in the boot who's stolen your cigars, there is a handle there that will release the boot, and when you're in there, that glows so you can see it. Not a good design. Now, I've interrupted this car review to eat a kebab, which I'm sure you'll agree will be much more interesting to watch. So, watch me eat a kebab. That is very tasty. I have a range of 55 miles, I might as well use it in first gear, just driving around the yard. The problem with eating the kebab there is it just kind of highlights the fact that this car is even more dull than before. I wasn't particularly enjoying it, and I did enjoy the kebab, and now I'm even more disappointed by the car. I do quite like this here. Little tray, and not only that, someone's left 10 pence in there. That one hasn't got any money in it, unfortunately. It's quite nice though, quite like those. And then this does the same, except that it's for people who smoke and have ash to flick in there, which incidentally, it does smell very strongly of smoke. Again, now the windows have been closed for a while. Rather disappointingly though, these buttons here, no matter how hard I press them, nothing happens. They just don't work. They don't even tell you what they're supposed to do, and they don't do anything.